Hello everyone, welcome to this video lecture of Geotechnical Engineering. This is Sukamal Ghosh, Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department, Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JS Group. In our last lecture of Rankine's lateral earth pressure theory, we have discussed about the active stage. Now in this particular video, we will discuss about the passive stage and some cases based on the Rankine's lateral earth pressure theory. Let's analyze the passive stage as we did for the active stage. Okay, so the analysis of passive stage. So let us consider a sheet pile which is retaining a cohesionless backfill. Okay, so this is the sheet pile which is at rest condition, and this sheet pile is retaining a cohesionless backfill. Okay, as we considered for the analysis of active stage also, right? So this is the cohesionless backfill. Okay, which is in stable condition. Why this cohesionless backfill is in stable condition? Because right now the sheet pile is at rest condition. It is not moving, right? And that is why this cohesionless soil backfill, or you can say this soil wedge, is in stable condition. Okay, so this is the soil wedge PQR. Okay, and this soil wedge is in stable condition or in static condition because the sheet pile is at rest condition. Now if we want to move the sheet pile about its base towards the backfill, then what will happen? See what I want to mean. This is the base of the sheet pile, right? So if we want to move the sheet pile about its base and towards the backfill, mean at this right side, then what will happen? Okay, see, this was the initial position of the sheet pile, or you can say the retaining wall or anything. Okay, and this is the position of the sheet pile after moving this sheet pile about its base and towards the backfill, right? Means this sheet pile is moving towards the backfill. So when the wall of this sheet pile is moving towards the backfill, this soil wedge PQR starts moving in upward direction, right? So since this sheet pile is moving this side, this soil wedge PQR is moving in upward direction, right? So upward movement of soil wedge PQR. Okay, and due to the upward movement of the soil wedge, a shearing resisting force against this upward movement will act in downward direction. So this is the downward movement of shearing resisting force against this upward movement of this soil wedge. Okay, so this is the resisting force at downward direction against the upward movement of the soil wedge. Okay, now this scenario is just opposite to the active stage, right? In active stage, what we did? In active stage, we moved the sheet pile about its base but away from the backfill, and that is why in the analysis of active stage, the movement of the soil wedge was in downward direction. But in the analysis of this passive stage, the movement of the soil wedge is in upward direction because the sheet pile is going towards the backfill. Okay, and it is trying to compact the soil, and that is why for this analysis of passive stage, the resisting shearing force is acting downward direction. Okay, now you may observe that the movement of the wall which is in this direction and the resisting force which is acting in downward direction, means in this direction, both are actually occurring towards each other, right? And therefore the earth pressure on the wall due to the soil wedge will start to increase. Okay, so let me write it here. Since the movement of the wall, or you can say the sheet pile, and the direction of the resisting force, or you can write it as resisting shearing force, are occurring towards each other, the earth pressure will start increasing. Okay, see, this is just opposite to the case of active stage, right? In active stage, the movement of the sheet pile and the direction of resisting force are different, and that is why the earth pressure on the sheet pile due to the soil wedge was decreasing, right, for the that active stage. Okay, but in this case, means in the analysis of passive stage, since the movement of the sheet pile and the direction of the resisting force are occurring towards each other, the earth pressure will start increasing. Okay, now if the sheet pile movement is continued, the resisting force will start increasing, and after a certain time it reaches to its maximum value, and at this stage the lateral earth pressure also reaches to its maximum value. Okay, and we know the maximum value of lateral earth pressure is nothing but the passive earth pressure, that is PP, right? So at this stage we can say the soil is in plastic equilibrium in passive stage. Okay, actually this whole analysis of this passive stage is just opposite to the active stage. If you understood the analysis of active stage, then this particular analysis will not feel difficult for you. Okay, now after reaching the plastic state of equilibrium, if we further move this sheet pile, then what will happen? Then there will be no increase in the passive earth pressure, right? So as we write for the analysis of active stage also, that in active stage the lateral earth pressure reaches to its minimum value, right? But in passive stage, the lateral earth pressure reaches to its maximum value. Okay. Now we will discuss about the state of stress at elastic equilibrium for the passive stage. Okay, as we discussed for the active stage also, right? So state of stress at elastic equilibrium. Okay. So suppose there is a soil element and the vertical stresses are acting on it, and also the lateral pressures, sigma h, is acting. Okay. Now in the analysis of the passive stage, we know that the lateral pressure is higher than the vertical stresses, and that is why sigma h is the major principal stress here. It means it is sigma 1, and the vertical stresses are the minor principal stresses. Okay, that is sigma 3. Okay, so now if you want to draw the Mohr circle, then let's see how can we draw the Mohr circle. So there is the axis for shear stress and there is the axis for the normal stress. Okay, and since this is the cohesionless soil, this will be the failure envelope. Okay, this is phi, means the angle of internal friction, and this is the failure envelope. Okay, now the expression for the failure envelope will be, okay, now when the sheet pile was at rest condition, means when the soil wedge was in stable condition, means when the soil is in elastic equilibrium, then this was its state of stress, right, where this sigma h is the major principal stress and sigma v is the minor principal stress. This will be sigma v. Okay, so let's draw the Mohr circle using that sigma v and sigma h. Okay, so suppose this is the sigma v and this is sigma h. Okay, this was the Mohr circle when the soil was in elastic equilibrium. Okay, now when we move the sheet pile towards the backfill, the lateral earth pressure increases and suppose get to a value of sigma h2. Okay, so after moving the sheet pile, the lateral pressure increases and get to a value of sigma h2. Okay, so let's draw a Mohr circle using this sigma h2 and the sigma v. So this is sigma h2. Okay, now again in the similar way, if we further move the sheet pile towards the backfill, then we will get an increased lateral earth pressure value, and suppose that value is sigma h3. Okay, now again let me draw a Mohr circle using that sigma h3 and the sigma v. Okay, so this is sigma h3. Now this time when we are drawing a Mohr circle using this sigma v and this sigma h3, you may observe that this particular Mohr circle touches the failure envelope. It means in the lateral pressure value of sigma h3, soil reaches to its plastic equilibrium. Okay, so this is the plastic equilibrium curve. okay, and it means the sigma H3 is nothing but the passive earth pressure, okay. So this sigma H3 is the passive earth pressure, and here from the figure also you may understand that sigma H is less than sigma H2 and sigma H2 is also less than sigma H3, which is actually the passive earth pressure, okay. Now by knowing this sigma H3 is the passive earth pressure, we may discuss about the state of stress at plastic equilibrium, right. So let me discuss about the state of stress at plastic equilibrium, okay. State of stress at plastic equilibrium for the analysis of passive stage, okay. So in plastic equilibrium stage, what is the soil element? This sigma V, also sigma V, this is sigma H3, which is equals to passive earth pressure, right. See here we have discussed that at the lateral earth pressure value sigma H3, the soil reaches to its plastic equilibrium, right. So this is PP and this is also the PP or the sigma H3, okay. So here this sigma H3 or the PP means the passive earth pressure is the major principal stress. It means it is sigma 1 and this sigma V is the minor principal stress. Right. Now we know for cohesionless soil, where the C is equals to 0, the sigma 1 is equals to sigma 3 into tan square 45 degree plus 5 by 2, okay. So here sigma 1 is nothing but the passive earth pressure and sigma 3 is the vertical stress into tan square 45 degree plus 5 by 2, okay. So from here you can write that PP is equals to tan square 45 degree plus 5 by 2 into sigma V, and this tan square 45 degree plus 5 by 2 is nothing but the Kp, means the coefficient of passive earth pressure, okay. We have discussed, right, that the value of this coefficient of passive earth pressure is tan square 45 degree plus 5 by 2, okay. So we derived that Kp is tan square 45 degree plus 5 by 2, okay. Now we will discuss about the various cases based on Rankine's earth pressure theory. So the first case is dry cohesionless backfill. It means for dry cohesionless backfill we will calculate the active earth pressure or the passive earth pressure and the active earth pressure force or the passive earth pressure force. Now the second case is fully submerged cohesionless backfill. It means in this particular case the backfill is fully submerged with water. Now the third one is cohesionless backfill subjected to uniform surcharge. In these two particular cases, the backfill is not subjected to any kind of surcharge, but in the third case the backfill is subjected to an uniform surcharge, okay. Now the fourth case is the water table present at any depth, means in this case in the backfill the water table is present at any particular depth. Now the fifth one is backfill contain two different types of soil mass. In the first four cases, there is only one type of soil mass in the backfill. But in the fifth case, there are two types of soil mass in the backfill. Okay. Now, last but not the least is inclined soil mass. See, if you recall our previous lecture where we discussed the assumptions of Rankine's earth pressure theory, we have discussed that the backfill can be inclined. So, in inclined soil mass or for the inclined backfill, we need to calculate the active earth pressure or the passive earth pressure and the active earth pressure force or the passive earth pressure force. Okay. So, our first case is for dry cohesionless soil. Okay. So, let us consider a sheet pile is retaining dry cohesionless soil. Okay. So, this is the sheet pile and it is retaining dry cohesionless soil. Okay. Okay. Now, the height of this sheet pile is suppose h. Okay. So, height of sheet pile suppose h and the unit weight of this dry cohesionless soils is gamma. Okay. The unit weight of the soil is gamma. Okay. So, since the depth of the sheet pile is h and the unit weight of the soil is gamma, at the base of the sheet pile, what will be the effective stress? We know the effective stress will be gamma into h, right? So, this is the effective stress. Okay. Now, let me draw the distribution of effective stress. Right. So, this is the distribution of effective stress, and now if you want to calculate the active earth pressure or the passive earth pressure, then how can we calculate? See, we know that active earth pressure is the Ka into vertical stress. So, here this vertical stress is nothing but this effective stress. So, for this case, this Pa will be equal to Ka into gamma into h, right? And this Pa means this active earth pressure will be acting, or you can say effective, at the base of the sheet pile, means here. So, if this is the pressure diagram, then here the value will be Ka into gamma into h if you want to calculate the active earth pressure. Okay. So, this is the pressure diagram, right? Okay. Now, the active earth pressure force will act at the Cg of this pressure diagram, and since this is a triangular distribution, the Cg will be at the distance of h by 3 from the base, right? Okay. And this is Fa. Fa is active earth pressure force. Okay. So this active earth pressure force will act at the depth of h by 3 from the base. Okay, it means this particular pressure Fa will act here in the sheet pile. Okay, in this situation our main purpose or motivation should be the calculation of this active earth pressure force. Okay, because if we know the value of this active earth pressure force, then we may design the sheet pile or any kind of returning structure. Okay, it means this force, this Fa, means this active earth pressure force may try to overturn this particular sheet pile or any kind of returning structure, since a moment will occur due to this force Fa, right? So by knowing the value of this Fa, we may calculate the overturning moment that will produce due to this Fa, and according to that we may design the resisting moment. Okay, so here our main purpose is to calculate this active earth pressure force, or in case of calculation of passive pressure, our main purpose or motto is to calculate the passive earth pressure force. So how can we calculate this active earth pressure force? See, this active earth pressure force Fa is nothing but the area of the pressure diagram. Okay, now what will be the area of this pressure diagram? See, the height of this pressure diagram is h and the base of the pressure diagram is Pa, means the Ka into gamma into h. Okay, so the area of the pressure diagram will be half into h means the height into the base, that is Ka into gamma into h. Okay, which will be equal to half into Ka gamma h square. Okay, so this will be the value of the active earth pressure force. Okay, and it will act at a depth of h by 3 from the base of the sheet pile or the returning structure. Okay, sheet pile suppose. Okay, so the calculation of this active earth pressure force is very important. See, let me discuss it bit elaborately. See, suppose this is the sheet pile. Okay, this is the sheet pile, and this force Fa is acting here at a depth of h by 3 from the base. Okay, this is the full height of the sheet pile. Okay, now since this Fa is acting at h by 3 depth from the base, it will create a overturning moment, right? It will try to overturn this particular sheet pile. Okay, in this manner, and the value of this overturning moment will be, that is MO, that is overturning moment, Fa into h by 3. Okay, so to make this sheet pile stable, we need to apply a resisting moment. Okay, and this resisting moment have to be greater than the overturning moment, then only we can say this sheet pile will be stable, otherwise it will be overturned by this force Fa. Okay, so once we know the value of this Fa, means the active earth pressure force, then we can also calculate this overturning moment. Okay, so that is why it is very important to calculate this active earth pressure force. Okay, so in this particular case 1, when we need to calculate the active earth pressure for the dry cohesionless soil using the Rankine's theory, the active earth pressure will be Pa is equals to Ka into gamma into H, where gamma is the unit weight of the soil and H is the height of the sheet pile, or you can say the depth of the sheet pile. Okay, and the active earth pressure force is half into Ka into gamma into H square, which is acting at a depth of H by 3 from the base of the sheet pile. Okay, so this is it for today. In our next lecture, we will discuss about the other cases based on Rankine's earth pressure theory. Till then, stay safe and stay happy. Thank you.